Hey, I want to ask you about Ric Flair. It's no secret at this time on the other channel, Eric Bischoff is in a blood feud, to say the least, with Ric Flair. Rick had a misunderstanding, I guess, about him needing time off to go see his son Reed compete in an amateur wrestling tournament. He had requested the dates off well in advance, and it's come out since that, well, they had not communicated that to Rick, but they were planning on announcing that they were putting the Horsemen together on a random Thunder. And as the rumor and innuendo goes, they were going to announce that Goldberg was a new member of the Horsemen. Well, no one communicates that to Rick. So by the time they tell him that they need him there, he reminds them, hey guys, I told you months ago, I've got this day off. I'm going to watch my son wrestle. The compromise is we're going to get you a private jet. No problem. We'll come pick you up and bring you in, and you'll be in town in time to do Thunder. We'll split the cost with you. And that's when Rick goes, hey, wait a minute. You wouldn't split the cost with Hogan. You just pay for it. If you want me there, I requested the day off. I followed the protocol. Just send the damn jet. They don't. He doesn't. He's a no-show. Eric holds a meeting and says he's going to embarrass and humiliate the Flair family. He's going to starve him out, force him into bankruptcy. So, of course, he's pissed off and thinking, where else can I go? And, of course, the answer is Vince McMahon. In an alternate universe, because I know that he was driving around Unforgiven in April of 98, wondering, should he come into the building? Should he not? I know there was a cute little scenario suggested where if he has his son Reed by his side and they introduce on camera a great wrestling champion sitting ringside with us today, and they shoot Reed with just Rick in the background, maybe that would get some buzz. It doesn't happen. But in an alternate universe, would Flair have been the perfect corporate champion? I'm just thinking if Vince McMahon in this new heel persona where he's trying to make Austin his corporate champion and he won't have it, so he's going to enlist the help of Mick Foley. Ric Flair could have checked that box as a corporate champion for Vince McMahon, and that would have been fun. Austin versus Flair, sign me up for that.
Yeah, it would have been unique to say the least. Part would have fit, to be honest with you. We were happy with the selection of Foley because Foley was a team player.
Hell yeah.
But Rick worked a safe style. That's one thing about Flair. I saw him. I made an appearance last week at the big event up in New York, and he was there. He passed by my table and was sure to say hello. Bret Hart was there. It was a good crowd, and it had a good roster. So it worked out really good. But it was good to see Rick, and he was very friendly. And he and I have always, more often than not, have been very friendly to each other out of respect. He respects what I do for a living and what I've done, and I respect the hell out of him for what he's accomplished. And he had big lines, but a great signing. So that big event in New York was a great signing, and I left there happy. I got my envelope. I felt like Polly Walnut, just worth my money, and I got that money, and it fit my envelope very, very nicely. So it was good. It was all good. But I'm sure Rick did well too, and but he would have worked. It would have worked. But we felt comfortable with Foley because Foley was. It worked out for us because we had control, and Vince had control of Mick because Mick had a WWE contract. So Vince is very pleased that we got Foley. Foley was there, very happy to do it, and Austin was happy with the selection of Mick Foley because Mick was a safe worker. Ironically, people are like, well, he's crazy. He's jumping off cages and cells and all that stuff. But in the ring, he changed his style up, and it worked out beautifully. He was a perfect choice for what we wanted to do.
Do you think in an alternate universe, if the guys could have gotten on the same page, doing a return feud, given the history, Owen and Austin could have been a main event? Because the story's right there from 1997. Was Austin willing to, or was Austin unwilling to even consider that in 98?
I don't think Steve was extremely pleased with that opportunity. I think he held a grudge against Owen because Owen was careless on that pile driver, and Austin paid the price for that with the rest of his career. So I'm not sure Austin would have ever wanted at that time. Now maybe later on it would have been a different ball game, but at that time, Owen was not welcome into the Austin world.
We should mention that after Foley, Austin is going to move on to Kane, and they're going to get ready in June of 1998. We're going to see Vince McMahon interviewing Kane. Kane is going to be using one of those voice box gimmicks that makes him sound a little bit like a robot. And they're going to set the challenge for Austin that they're going to have a pay-per-view match, and it'll be a first blood match. Kane versus Stone Cold Steve Austin. Now, of course, fans at home know Kane's almost completely covered up and wears a mask, so it's going to be really tough to see him bleeding. But Kane promises that if he loses, he's going to die. He's going to unalive himself with fire. So he'll set himself on fire and take his last breath. I can't believe that's a thing, but that is what is suggested. This is maybe one of the silliest stipulations ever. It's a first blood match, and if I lose, I die. What in the world?
Silly.
Yeah.
The first blood was enough.
Yes.
And we always having to add things and add more drama, more of this, more of that. I think we overloaded Kane with stipulations. The bottom line is that if a guy could bleed from the arm, the ear, the leg, there's a lot of things that could happen. So, but it was not played up as much as it should. But the parts of the match is concerned. Glenn Jacobs as Kane was smart. He knew what he could do as far as Austin's physicality was concerned, and he made sure that Austin was not uncomfortable with what they were doing, and that was so important at that time. Because you got to remember, Austin was very fragile emotionally and physically. But those two guys got along, and Glenn was a safe worker. No matter how he looked or what he did, he was a safe worker. And I'll be seeing him. I'm at the Fanboy Expo in Knoxville. We talked about that coming up. For those of you in the Knoxville area, be sure and check us out. It'll be good I'm sure Glenn will be around. It'll be good to see him. He's still the mayor of that Knoxville County, I guess.
Knox County, that's right, yeah.
So, I'm proud of Glenn. Glenn's a good guy. And nobody had an issue working with Glenn whatsoever, including Stone Cold.